You've been asked to give a wedding speech and you want it to be heartfelt and perfect and funny in all the right places. I'm going to show you the blueprint that I use to build the perfect wedding speech. And by the way, I want to know what kind of speech you're working on, so leave something in the comments. Let me know who you are. So I break every speech down into 6 sections, and every speech ends up being different and unique, but these are the 6 elements that make a perfect speech. Because what you want is a speech that just builds momentum all the way up to the toast, where you're just going and going and going, and here's your toast. Right? So the first part of the speech is the introduction. That's where you go up there and literally you introduce yourself to the crowd. There's 2 things that this section does. The first thing is it buys you just a few seconds to have the guests fully turn their attention to you. Because even if a wedding planner or a DJ or someone said, hey, the speeches are happening, people are still kind of finishing up their conversation. It just takes a few seconds for the room's attention to turn and fully lock in on you. The other purpose that it serves is if you spend a couple seconds sort of reintroducing yourself to the audience and give them an extra little piece of information that's going to help them follow your speech or is going to enhance their understanding and their enjoyment of your speech. And what I mean is, say you're giving a maid of honor speech, and this is for your sister who is 7 years older than you are. Well, if I say, hey, I'm Beth, I'm Michelle's annoying little sister, she's 7 years older than I am. Now, whenever you tell a story about growing up, people know she's not the older sister by 18 months. That's 7 years. That's a big difference. So anytime you mention something, you're going in with this head start where people can really picture, oh, wow, she's 10 years old and she's got the annoying 3-year-old sister behind her. I mean, it gives people a visual. You can also be something self-aware. Look, if I'm going up there as someone's maid of honor to give a speech and I'm wearing the big maid of honor dress, which has happened, I gotta acknowledge that right off the top, right? Me in a big floofy dress, I can't just go up there and start talking because everyone is going to be thinking the same thing. Does she know she looks like that? Yes, I know I look like I'm in drag. So it's just a little something, it breaks the ice. Another thing it can do, look, if you are genuinely terrified of public speaking, then that's where you can acknowledge it. Let the audience know that up top. That's information that will help them be a good audience for your speech. Go up there and say, I gotta be honest, public speaking is not my favorite thing to do. If I pass out, someone drag me back to my seat, and when I come to, tell me I was great. If you do that, when people see your paper shaking, then they know that those nerves are something that you are willing to deal with, to be up there, and to give this speech. Okay, section 2 I call thanks and acknowledgements. For the thanks, well, that kind of depends on who you are in the wedding. If you're the parent of one of the people getting married, you're going to thank all the guests for coming. If you are the best man or the maid of honor, thank your host. And you can thank them on behalf of all of the guests. So on behalf of all the guests, I just want to say to Harry and Diane, thank you so much for spoiling us with this incredible wedding weekend. When I say hosts, it kind of implies whoever paid for it. Traditionally, that's the bride's family. You never know what the financial situation is, so if you have any doubt at all, the safest route is to include everyone. On behalf of all the guests, I just want to thank all of our hosts, Harry and Diane and Beatrice and Phil. Thank you so much for spoiling us this weekend. We're all going home with some great memories and at least 10 extra pounds. When it comes to acknowledgements, that's usually absent friends and family. They could be absent for any number of reasons, but anyone who really would have wanted to be there but couldn't, Oftentimes also it's someone who's passed away, so that's a good place to do it because these first couple of sections are sort of the business of the speech. So if it's something that is potentially sad, if you do it now, then it's done and you don't have to worry about maybe changing the energy later on when you want to really be focused on the reason you're there, which is the couple. Section 3 is where you talk about your half of the couple and why they're wonderful. And when I say your half of the couple, you probably know both halves of the couple, but there was probably one side who came into your life first. So it's a great place to start. And when you're telling us how wonderful this person is, make sure that you don't just tell us, you also show us. Provide a specific example of that trait in action. If someone's stubborn, give us an example of them being stubborn. If they're the nicest, most generous person, give us an example of them being ridiculously generous. Maybe even generous to the point where it had a negative effect on them. If this is feeling overwhelming to anyone, I do have templates and I've got them for pretty much every kind of wedding speech. There's a link to all those in the description. Section 4, you're going to talk about the other half of the couple and why they're wonderful. And again, whenever you mention something, a personality trait, or you describe them, give us an example that supports that description. Now, a lot of people come to me because they're not huge fans of the other half of the couple, and it happens. Your friend is marrying someone, your daughter's marrying someone, you're not really all that thrilled about, but this is a wedding speech. Take the high road. Give this person the benefit of the doubt. Don't be passive aggressive. Find something nice to say about them. I had one client and she said, I just think this guy's a dick. I don't have anything nice to say. And I said, is he genuinely in love with your friend? And she said, yeah, I think he is. Okay, well, that's it. Dave, I know that we don't see eye to eye on everything, but I think there's one thing we can agree on, and that's Susan is one of the most wonderful people on this planet. And that's what you have in common. And because you are trying to take the high road, you're trying to build a bridge, even if Dave's a dick, Susan's going to appreciate it. Make that effort. I can guarantee you it's going to be appreciated. Something that happens a lot is maybe you guys went to college together and your friend is marrying someone and you're just meeting them that weekend. You can talk about how you've experienced this person through your friend. Because even though you didn't meet this person, I'm sure you've been talking to your friend about them. So you can be honest and say, I didn't have the pleasure of meeting you until this weekend, but I've heard about the time you did this and the time you did that. And when you first met, I got 74 texts telling me how great you were and how much hope there was for the relationship. So there's always a way you can kind of finesse it. You don't have to say a lot, but you have to say something about the other half of the couple. Because if you don't, not saying something is kind of saying something. In section 5, you're going to talk about why the couple is great together as a unit, how they complement each other, complement with an E, how they work well together, why they're a great team, and your hopes for them for the future. Because you talked about one, you talked about the other, and now you're talking about them as this unit that's going out there and facing the world. And part 6, that's your big raise your glass toast, all right, your big raise your glass toast where you literally say, would you all please raise your glass in a toast to the happy couple. Include the other guests in with your toast. I know I speak for everyone here when I wish you a lifetime of health, happiness, and laughter. Make sure you're looking directly at them when you do it, and then put down the mic. Carry that momentum into the big hug that you're going to go give to them. And while you're doing it, have in the back of your mind that there's a photographer somewhere who's trying to capture this wonderful moment. So just make sure that you help that photographer get that shot, because your friends are going to be so happy, or your daughter is going to be so happy to have that moment preserved forever. Now you've got the blueprint, the outline for writing a great speech. Watch this next video for some tips on how to deliver it. And if you find you need some help editing your speech or polishing it, I do speech audits, I do one-on-one phone calls. You can find links to all that down in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.